good vibes, making this thing do what it do, so that we could take that transitional step in life. Now, the thing that I come to say is be aware of what's going on. And in being aware, it will help us not fall victim to a lot of things that's taking place in this lifetime. You see, I'm pretty sure if you haven't seen it on the news, social media feed, the issues that took place with Puff Daddy, Diddy, Sean Combs. I'm not going to go about speculating on nobody's situation. But the thing that I come to point out in this is that when we go about letting greed consume us, we mistreat people because we're craving that power in believing that we have the power to go about manipulating, controlling, and downright disrespecting another human being. But this is what I come to say. If anybody is having any thoughts that money will go about being sufficient enough to go about filling that void, I'm here to tell you, it's best you go about checking again, because materialism and all other aspects of life, trying to go about filling a void, it's only going to expand and make that void bigger in your life, you see. So when people come to say that if I have money and I'm going to do whatever it takes to go about getting money, then my problems will be over, they're sadly mistaken. Their problems will only go about increasing. Like the late, great Biggie Smalls said, more money, more problems. Now that just goes to illustrate that if you have problems without money, you're going to have more problems with money because you haven't addressed the issues at hand to go about taking care of what's needed, in the sense that you can't allow certain things to go about saying that if I implement this, then that's going to take care of it. It's almost like a drug addict. A drug addict will drink alcoholic. My apologies. An alcoholic will drink to try to go about numbing the pain. And in trying to numb the pain, he will believe that he's doing something productive. But when he gets sober, he goes right back. So now, if we go back and look at the philosophy of greed, it's the same concept. When greedy people are chasing money, material wealth, or whatever the case may be, it's just them trying to go about filling a void. Don't be caught in a trap where it's you believe by the more you go about acquiring and attaining, that will go about giving you a sense of purpose or a sense of belonging or a sense of just existing. You have to go about addressing the issues at hand. And that is the main thing that we all must try to go about looking at, because so many of us, when things is rocky and rough, we believe that that's the winning formula. If I go about getting what I'm supposed to get, then everything gonna be okay. But that's not. We gotta go about acquiring or amassing a whole bunch of stuff just to make us feel important. that's not it. So the come on, man, what you doing? The tribulations that men go about playing is that society will try to go about holding money as the end all be all, and then that's what's going to bring that level of true happiness and bring you that level of comfort. But if we look closely, we will see that if you can't find satisfaction in what you have, how is what you're trying to go about chasing after going to go about bringing that level of completeness? And when we are chasing things, when we are going after things just to acquire more, that is just showing us that how empty we really are inside. And being empty inside, it's nothing but issue of not willing to go about addressing the issues that we have. You see, greedy people ain't greedy because that's the thing to do. They're trying to go about filling a void in which they could go about filling some deficiency that they have. Because, case in point, let's use a newborn. A newborn is going to go about crying because that newborn is hungry, that newborn needs to be changed, or that newborn needs to go to sleep. But the basic element of life teaches us that once that need is going about being met, then there's no longer a need for us to go about for that baby to go about crying. So since that baby don't have to cry no more, that baby is found it sufficient enough that they could go to sleep or do whatever they need to do. But the older we get, let it be due to trauma, let it be due to outlook, let it be to family dynamics, we go about creating some of these things in which it's more along the lines of we hold on to the perception that we feel that we're not complete because of situations. So we hold on to these perceptions and we believe that because I'm not wealthy as my neighbor, then I am less than, so I need to go about acquiring, or we grew up on food stamps and so forth. But in that, we go about amassing an attitude that is just more meant to go about creating a level of greed. And when we hold on to greed, it never becomes enough. And we don't care what we do to go about getting what we want to get, because it becomes a self-centered notion that it's all about me. And we come with a selfish, hurtful, vindictive ideology that is just destructive in all aspects of life. So we can't hold on to the attitude of greed, because if we look carefully, we could see how men of power have risen and fallen because greed have gone about consuming, controlling, and what they do in order to go about manipulating others just so that they can go about amassing more. But when more is not enough, it shows that there's a deficiency. And within having that deficiency, it shows that no matter what they do, they can't stop. It's like a plague. It's almost like a bacteria that just consumes the heart and takes over the soul. But enough of that. The next thing that I want to go about touching on is forgiveness. We need to go about stopping the way how we go about looking at life. And in stopping the way we go about looking at life is, yes, yesterday was a traumatic event that took place in your life. But yet at the same time, today is a new day. It's giving you that opportunity to go about making things right. Stop looking back. You need to direct your attention forward. We aren't like crabs. We don't walk backwards. We could, but life moves forward. We don't reverse in days. We go forward. So let that be a concept in which you go about applying to yourself. Despite what you've been through yesterday, despite what happened, despite what failures consumed you, that was yesterday. Today is a new day. And in you holding on to that concept that today is a new day, then you're giving yourself a chance to go about becoming that very person you are to be. But if you keep looking back, you can't focus on where you're going. So you're setting yourself up for failure. And in setting yourself up for failure, you're going to be revisiting the same old shit. Because ain't nothing going to change. If you didn't get it right then and you're still focusing on that, how are you giving things time to go about moving in a productive and in a enlightened way? So this thing I come to say, forgive yourself. Whatever the situation may be, let it be an accident, let it be intentional, let it be downright ignorance. If you didn't know better, you can't hold yourself accountable for not knowing better. You did? You can't tell yourself I should have known better when with all your right faculties, you made that assessment, that choice to the best of your abilities. Life is not going to ask you to give more than you are capable of. So the one thing that we have to go about doing is, despite what happened yesterday, let that shit go. Let it go. Look forward to tomorrow. They got a whole bunch of shit to be happy for. They got a whole bunch of shit to be grateful for. And when we come to realize that, man, I got up out of bed. I got my health and strength. I'm still pushing. My faculties are still working. My dreams are still alive because God has given me this opportunity to go about making things happen. Then things gonna happen because we gonna start creating that energy. And the minute we start creating that energy, that's when movement starts. But as long as we go about holding ourselves prisoner, we're not going to get too far. Because we're going to keep replaying that same old tape in our head. Keep on feeling sorry for ourselves, making excuses on issues in regards to, oh, I should have did it this way, I should have did it the other way. They got one of the biggest traps in this world right now is the shouldas. They never gonna go about attempting nothing because they always gonna have an excuse into why they not gonna put it forth. So you can't live your life in that format. I shoulda. Nah, give it a try. Because, and by you attempting something, you gonna see what you made of. And take it from me, you just might surprise yourself, because then you're going to see that, damn, I really got potential. I could really do a lot more than I have gone about believing or setting myself up to see. But And the first step is going about changing the mindset. The mindset is key because even in the laws of nature, everything starts on top and goes down. If you don't believe it, if you can't perceive it, then you will never go about achieving it. And that's the key right there. That's game right there. So you have to start believing in yourself, amassing a plan, formulating something, an ideology. Putting that ideology, just putting that ideology into full effect. Because the minute you start going about putting that ideology into full effect, you're going to see how certain things come to show you that, hey, put this on it, leave that out, because you're putting that energy in. Energy is the creation of work. EMC squared, same concept. Even Einstein knew the basic ass function of you gotta put that work in. And by putting that work in, that's when we go about recalibrating the brain and how we think, how we do things, and how we go about and our attitudes to even when we go about holding on to that new attitude, that even if it doesn't work out, we're not quick to give up. We're not quick to just be dismissive because we're realizing that things take time. It's not going to come overnight. It's not going to be a quick fix, because a lot of people, they believe that things will happen overnight. And that's why the lottery is so successful. It's a scheme. It's meant to have you believe that you could get rich without doing anything. But life doesn't work that way. If I get 1 billion people to fall for the same scheme, how wealthy am I? Because you're going to go about giving me your money and you're not getting anything in return. Things that are worthwhile, you have to go about investing in it. And by you investing in yourself, you will go about seeing the returns. You are the best investment that you could ever make. Ain't nothing, a CD, a house, a car, ain't nothing more valuable than who you are. But a lot of people, we find it dismissive, and we don't want to go about investing in ourselves, because at the end of the day, we have to keep up with the Joneses. But I'm here to tell you, it's not about keeping up with the Joneses. It's about you changing your outlook. It's about you holding on to a positive attitude. It's about you holding on to good vibes. It's about you surrounding yourself with like-minded people. Because not everybody that you got around you want good for you. There'll be some of them people you have around you gonna shoot your ass down. Gonna tell you you ain't shit. Gonna call you a dumbass. Gonna tell you why you even thinking that shit. You know you just gonna fail, but with a small-minded attitude, you can't let that deter or go about giving energy into what you're trying to go about doing. Small-minded people, shake them. Stick their ass to the curb, see them when you can, and deal with them if you want to. But at the end of the day, don't let small-minded people bring you down. Like they got this old philosophy. You put a bunch of crabs in a bucket. Now, by putting crabs in a bucket, if one happen to seem like he gonna get out that bucket, you already know what the rest of them goddamn crabs gonna do. They gonna drag their last down, because they have that mindset. If I'm in this hellhole, your ass gonna be in this hellhole. So since we gonna be in here, we gonna be in here together. They not gonna be happy that damn, we could help one of ours get up out of here. So if you're surrounded by people who don't want nothing, you're not going to get shit. Because the energy that you give is what you're comfortable with. And if you find comfort with people that don't want nothing, I'm here to tell you, you're not going to get a damn thing. Because that's the energy you're breeding. So, like I said, we got to change the mindset. We have to change the mindset. We have to go about changing the people that we keep in and around us that have some level of credence in our life. Because the minute we go about seeing that, hey, by me changing my mindset, by me changing the people that surround me, then I'm seeing a big difference that's happening in my life. Whoa, I got to go about applying this and holding on to this. Because the one thing that I come to say, they have a lot of people that don't want shit out of life. But don't hold on to people that don't want nothing out of life. Don't hang around people that don't want nothing out of life. You want to be around people that is more in tune with trying to get to a better place in their life. Not trying to live off of excuses. Not trying to go about believing that it's somebody else that's going about holding them down. But more accepting the reality that, hey, I need to change certain aspects of my life. I need to go about applying this and so forth. And when they come to find that reality, then it'll be a good thing. It'll be a good thing, and it'll be a good thing in that the way how they go about living it up and trying to make things work. So I just want to say thank you for tuning in. Bless.